The seventh day of Pesach. What a day that was. Let's talk about Pesach for a moment, and the number 7, and then we'll go on about Kriyas Yam Suf. So, Pesach was so transformative. Until Pesach, we really had no self-definition as a people. And I want you to know, today also, for many Jews, their self-definition is very shaky. If you were to go to a university campus and ask the kids, even the kids who belong to Jewish groups, are you Jewish? Picture some guy with a big Magen David. Are you Jewish? Yeah. Are you proud of it? Yeah. What are you proud of? What do they say? So they have two kinds of answers. One kind of answer, is Jewish accomplishment. So what will come out of that? Einstein, Freud, all the Nobel Prize winners, maybe the State of Israel, maybe not. Nowadays it can go either way. The compassion of the Jewish people, their activism. Okay, that's one kind of answer. The other kind of answer has to do with survival. They'll say, we made it through. We're like an eternal people. Okay. And for a lot of people, the definition of their Judaism is that they're not Christians and that they have been persecuted. So I always find it fascinating, when foreign ambassadors or whomever, important political people, come to Israel, the government usually takes them on a tour of Yad Vashem. And I'm sure you've seen the pictures, Obama with the kippah on, like some of it is like very, very high camp. But what are they trying to get across? They're trying to get across that we have a definition that we are a people and we've been persecuted and we need a land. But if you ask them, what makes you a people, they don't have a good answer. And I remember once listening to one of the debates, I think it was Abbas who was speaking, I'm not sure. It was either, it doesn't matter which one of the Arab, I would imagine it doesn't matter to you which of the Arab leaders it was. It might have been Faisal Khomeini. But they asked, how do you defend having a state, a Palestinian state? Isn't it racist? Which it certainly is. And they said, well, we have a common language, a common set of beliefs. Over 90% of the people are Muslims. He said, I don't think that's true, but whatever. And common culture. We are a people. How do you Jews define the state? You have a common language. All Jews speak Hebrew. You have a common culture. You have a common religious system. So that was his excuse when Netanyahu told him that if he expects Netanyahu, to recognize the Palestinian state, that Abbas must recognize a Jewish state. Abbas said, even you can't define what a Jewish state is. You want me to define what a Jewish state is? It's a tragic state of affairs. So the reason I'm telling you this is that that was very much our identity in Egypt. Who were we? We were a slave race. The traditions that we had from the Avos were pretty much lost. How do we know this? Before the Korban Pesach was offered, the men had to circumcise themselves. That was one of the merits of their leaving Egypt. They obviously had not been keeping the tradition of circumcision up until that point. So, who they were was the actual consequence of Paro's nightmare. Remember Paro, why did he persecute the Jews? They'll become strong, they'll leave, they'll fight against us. All of this happened. So his idea was, let's oppress them, lest they multiply. And God's response was, the more you persecute them, the more they'll multiply. So this isn't just quantitatively, although it was also quantitatively, but it was on every level. The more they were persecuted, the more their sense of being a people developed. So this is a tragic state of affairs. And it's a state of affairs that's very, very current. When you, a significant proportion of my students at Neve nowadays are originally from the former Soviet Union. Most of them came via America or via Germany to Israel. But their parents, Stalin did a very good job. Their parents aren't religious at all. But they all have a strong sense of knowing that they're Jewish because that's what it says on their passport. It says Žid. And they know that being Jewish is a reason for being persecuted. That's where it is. Something happened at Kriyat Yamsuf to give them a different definition. And it's not for nothing that it happened to be on the 7th day of Pesach. Let's talk about the number 7, which is, I'm sure, something very familiar to you. Everything physical has 6 sides. Let's give these 6 sides a name. Let's call it surface.